Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to new heights, and ultimately follow your dreams. And part of the dreams for most people is to be successful. So I want to talk today about what is the secret to success, okay? And I posted this on Facebook, the Iron Sharpens Iron page this week. So I just wanted to start off with this, but I've got some other good stuff on success. Is there a secret to success? For me, personally, it's having a relationship with Jesus Christ, the master leader, and reading and absorbing His Word. It's reading over 1,000 books. When I hated reading all through high school, and I think I read one full book. Joseph Brodsky notes, there are worse crimes than burning books. One of them is not reading them. Working harder than most and doing things many are not willing to do, and then trying to do them better. Visualizing what I want and then getting off my butt and making it happen and going after it. And then being able to take a lot of crap, AKA flack, F-L-A-K, by the way. They knew in World War II, the bomber pilots knew they were getting close to the target when they were taking a bunch of shots from below, which they called flak. So I've taken a bunch of flak and attacks from people, but I keep moving forward, tenacity. And I just chose not to chase money, but I chose to take care of people. And the money is just a byproduct of what we do. The money comes when you just take care of people, okay? So there's going to be 6 things we talk about today. Number 1 is be the best. Number 2 is be the first. Number 3 is be noticed. Number 4 is be yourself. And number 5 is be different. And number 6, last chapter of my book, be ready. So we're going to talk about those things. It's going to be a relatively short podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying my Greg McAfee Show podcast, the clean version. We don't drop F-bombs. We're not into the GD words. And we keep it extremely clean, professional. We take the high road in everything we do. And we might as well do it here on the show, okay? So, be the best. What does that have to do with being successful? Well, it has everything to do with being successful. Be the best. One of my favorite little movies is a movie that gave the biography of Pistol Pete Maravich life. In that movie, there was a cheerleader named Sandy, which Pete had a crush on. Pete was like 8th grade, playing varsity at his high school. And he asked Sandy one time, he was running the bleachers and Sandy was practicing. They were in the gym by themselves, and Pete said something about, what do you want to do when you grow up? And Sandy said, I don't know. And Pete said, well, don't you want to be like a dancer or an actress? And she goes, I don't know if I could do those things. And he said, why not? If you're going to do this, try to be your best. And it made an impact on Sandy, the cheerleader, and you could tell by her face, yeah, why not? A lot of us weren't taught that growing up. A lot of us weren't taught if you're going to do something, be the best. Don't cut corners. Try to be your best at what you do. If you can't be the best, make sure you're being your best. That's important. So You need to separate yourself and your company from the rest of the group. I talk about that all the time. I've talked about the blue ocean waters versus the red bloody waters. The red bloody waters represent all the competition and all the low ball and all the hacks and all the guys that are out there. And there's hundreds of them. In your market, there may be thousands of them. And it's just a bloody mess. But in the blue waters, it's crystal clear. It's relaxing. It's refreshing. It's prosperous. The blue waters represent prosperity because you're not competing with all the people down here in the bloody water trying to lowball prices and cut corners and do things and ripping people off and all that crap that trades get bad reputations for. But the blue waters are the elite, the ones that separate themselves from the rest. The blue waters are where the yachts are, the big yachts. Big yachts with hot tubs, okay? That's what's happening in the blue water. Taking care of people. The blue waters are a byproduct of taking care of people. And when you're being your best, it keeps you motivated. It keeps you inspired. And it keeps you winning. Now, I heard something very interesting the other day. It's common sense, but it was very interesting to me, is that the professionals, they're not the ones that need motivated because they motivate themselves. Now, I'm sure a professional loves to have someone come in that maybe someone better than them and give a good pep talk before a big game or something like that. But they don't need to be motivated. They're already motivated. That's why they're professionals. They do need to be inspired. I mean, Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players ever, hired a personal coach to coach him. And the guy inspired him. It inspired him. It pushed him a little bit farther than he could push himself. And he was one of the best of the best. So, be the best. Be your best. You want to be successful, be your best. And then be the first. And I talk about this in my book, if you've not read my book yet. Build and grow your HVAC business. I don't care if you're in the HVAC business, whatever business you're in, this book will cover it. But I have a chapter on be innovative, and part of the chapter is being first to market. In our attempts to be innovative, we've made a lot of mistakes. We had to adjust, tinker, and sometimes just throw out the entire idea, but we never stopped there. We also experienced some major wins. Without an innovative spirit and willingness to be first in our market, to try new things, we would have never made the leap from a tiny startup to a thriving multi-million-dollar company, growing business. There are several advantages to being first to enter the market, and the chief among them are the consumer impact and the lack of competition. Folks, I'm all about lack of competition. If I can eliminate my competition, that's half the battle. So, be the first. It creates a strong brand recognition. And yes, you might fail. You might have setbacks. But be the first. You're in business. It's risky. It's part of being in business is to take risks. Take a leap. Take a leap of faith. Get out there and be first in something. Set the mark for your market. It builds strong brand recognition. It builds customer loyalty. Some of the stuff we were first in was, after hours, same great rate, 8 to 8, same great rate, after hours at the same rate, no overtime, from 8 to 8. It built customer loyalty. Between 5 and 8 p.m. became our number one time the customer wanted for service. They no longer had to take the morning off and be ready at 8. They could now go 5 to 8. Our biggest challenge was keeping up from 5 to 8. Good problem to have. But it builds, when I say it builds strong brand recognition and company brand loyalty, it happens before everybody else jumps in. It took people 5 years to jump in on the 8 to 8, same great rate. And then as soon as they started jumping in, we started jumping out with a different type of marketing, advertisement, slogan. We still did 8 to 8. We just didn't talk about it as much. We'd already hit the mark. We'd already established what it was supposed to be like. Doing it for 5 years, we tuned it, we sharpened it, we made it better. And then you've got be noticed. You're not going to be in business long if you don't get noticed. So be noticed. And I'm talking about a strong brand, folks. A strong brand identity tells your company story, tells the customer who you are and what you do, tells the customer where you're going. There's been advertisements in the past, the one to watch. The one to watch, because they're coming up strong. A strong brand identity increases customer awareness. Be noticed, get noticed. A strong brand identity builds trust and credibility like never before. What we've established in 33 years here is really unheard of. And I say that not bragging. I say that from other professionals who have come and visited and much more successful than we are, doing much more in revenue than we are, and they've never seen a company like it that have built such a strong brand in what we do. Private labeling now for 20 years, only selling our private label. The community efforts that we give out and help with is unheard of. The giving back and the paying forward, and we're going to talk about more about that, but strong like no other. On purpose. A strong brand identity taps into the power of psychology. The customer only wants to use us. Customer wants to use us even if they may disagree with me personally. And I'm very open, unlike other business owners. I'm very open with my Christianity. I'm very open with my politics. And you go, oh, don't talk about politics. You'll lose customers. We've gained twice as many more as we've lost, or probably 10 times more than we've lost. We have many customers that disagree with my politics. They still do business with us. So there's a power of psychology there. A strong brand identity sets you apart from the competition, totally separates you from the competition, sets you apart, makes you different. You're not going to be just a heating and air company when you are being noticed, because you won't be noticed if you're just a common heating and air company or a common electrical company or a common plumbing or a common landscaping or a common remodeling or a common roofing. whatever you do, if you're just common, you're not going to get noticed. It's when you step out and you separate yourself from the competition and you do things differently than everyone else. That's when you'll be noticed. That's when you'll stand out. That's when you'll stand up. And that's when you'll raise to the top. A strong brand identity inspires your team. They like it. They like to be part of it. They grow with you. Hire the right people and they will grow with you. Hire the wrong people and they probably won't be around long. They don't like their bar raised. They'd rather go somewhere where they could do this or that, and not do this or that, and not look this way, and not act like this, and not have a clean truck all the time, and all those types of things that come in with the best of the best, the success of a company. Not everybody's going to like that. Get used to it. It used to frustrate me and disappoint me. It doesn't anymore. I just realized not everyone's for me. Not everyone's for the caliber I want to portray. If they're not high caliber in their personal life, they're probably not going to be high caliber with me in my business life. Think about it. Think about some of the strong brands that you know of today. Amazon, Apple, Google, Walmart, Chick-fil-A. We talked about Truett Cathy the other day. Chick-fil-A, Verizon, My Pillow. You say My Pillow? Yeah. I love the guy. He gets a lot of attention. Sometimes bad advertising is still advertising. Trust me. Negative advertising, negative publicity, still advertising. Trust me. He does extremely well. Ford. Still got the Ford name. It's American-made Ford. Been around a long time. Family-owned. And Tesla. Think about it. And then you've got be yourself. I want you to think about this. Be yourself. Do what you do best. Do what you enjoy doing. And notice that I did not say do what you love doing. Todd Marinovich was called the Robo quarterback, one of the best bred quarterbacks ever. Played for USC, broke records, played for the Raiders, NFL. And today Todd says just because you're good at something does not mean you're born to do it. So you don't have to love everything you do to be good at it. That's a myth. But do what you do best. Strive for a goal. Do what you enjoy doing. Of course, you're not going to be good at everything you don't like. I mean, I don't even read books I don't like. Also, every entrepreneur has a defining moment where he or she identifies a void in the marketplace that no one else is noticing, an idea that has potential to change the way people do business in that industry. And you got to jump on it. That's why we talked about be first in. You got to jump on it. You know, who would have known today? Who would have ever known even 20 years ago that you could order anything you want online and have it delivered tomorrow for free? Who would have ever known you could order food and never talk to anyone and it would be at your doorstep in 20 to 30 minutes and most of the time still hot? Who would have known that? It wasn't a restaurant that came up with that. Okay? Who would have known that you can get on your phone and never talk to someone and have a ride and get a ride from here to wherever at a reasonable cost? It wasn't a taxi company who invented Uber. There was an opening. There was a void in the market. and someone jumped on it? What's the void in your market that you need to be jumping on before someone else jumps on it? Be different. Be unique. Your culture must be your own. Stand out. Either be an expert or build a strong team like no other. And by the way, let others boast about you. You don't need to boast about yourself. I read some of these things on social media. It makes me gag. It really does. It makes me gag. These guys are just talking so much smack, I can't keep up with it. I'm like, really? You're not that good. You're not that good, okay? When other people start talking about you, then I might believe you're that good. But right now, it's not happening. All right? So let others boast about you. Always be up with technology. Don't get left behind in technology. Stay up on technology. You'll never be different if you're not up on technology. Again, just be you. Be who you want to be. Don't try to be everybody else, especially within your own market. It's sickening. It's sickening to copy off someone all the time. Are you not creative enough to have your own ideas? And then give it back or pay it forward, however you want to word that. I particularly like pay it forward. You know, I'm paying it forward. I'm helping young people become more successful and know things I didn't know at that age, and help them be more aggressive and more motivated and more inspired, and help them get ahead of the curve. And so give back or pay it forward. And then think about describing your brand in one word. If you could describe your brand in one word. Now, some people have no idea what their brand is. So you've got to be able to know your brand first. But if you were to describe your brand in one word, what would it be? And I thought about that, and I've talked about this word before here on the show, but my word is nimble. And nimble is, in business, means being able to change and adapt to different circumstances. It also means having the ability to adjust structures, leadership practices, and techniques to meet new market needs and fend off the competition, which we constantly have to do. And in my world of culture, I've read this card before. It sits right here on the table, and it's all about the McAfee way. It's all about integrity, caring for people, our culture, our consistency, our innovation, and our teamwork. And that's who we are, and that's what we do. And that's nimble. Nimble, nimble, nimble. I love it. Love the word. Okay? And lastly, be ready. I turn to the last chapter of my book. Be ready. Henry Ford said, before everything else, getting ready is the secret of success. You might be sitting in your garage, home office, or even your kitchen wondering if growth can really ever happen to you. Well, be ready. It can. Just think, it wasn't long ago that my wife and I were sitting at a humble little kitchen table, paying company bills. It wasn't so long ago that I was staring at my backyard, strategizing where I would build my garage/office. It wasn't so long ago I was sitting across from an empty lot, dreaming of our corporate headquarters we would someday build. And only a few years ago, when I wrote this book, I purchased a 30,000 square foot corporate headquarters building, renovated it from top to bottom, and sold all my other buildings, getting operations back under one roof and debt-free. And we've created a strong small business by implementing the principles in this book. And if you read this book, you will learn you need to be ready, because it will take you to new heights, new ventures, fulfill your dreams. It's a little book, and it's a simple read, but it's not easy to implement, folks. Okay? So be ready. Buy the book and be ready. Okay? And you can buy the book on Amazon. You know the book. Okay. With that in mind, I hope this helps today. Be the best, be the first, be the noticed, be yourself, be different, and be ready. As always, before we wrap up, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe below. And you can also support this podcast by rating and reviewing on iTunes or your preferred listening platform. Keep listening, and we'll keep bringing it to you. We've got some exciting podcast coming up soon with my son Travis and I doing something on team building. We've made part 1. We're going to make part 2 here really soon, and we're going to get those out back to back. That's exciting. I've been told by a few people who have watched it outside of my world. They said it's really good. So don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Greg McAfee Show. No spaces, no underscores. Be sure to tune in next week as we continue to discuss how to build businesses, how to help you sleep better at night. Thanks for listening, and as always, carry on and have a great day.